Hello, my name is Amanda Ostrander and welcome back. It's been a while since I've been here. Not because I don't want to be here, but because I did some dumb things and got myself hurt. So I thought I would give you a little life update, a little what's coming next, and maybe talk a little bit about the future of True North history and the curriculum that's coming, because that's pretty much all I can do while my arm is in the cast. So let's do that right now. So life update. How did I end up in the cast? Let's start there. I took the dog for a walk. It's really the simplest answer. I went for a walk around the block with the dog, was walking, hit a patch of ice, and suddenly saw both feet in front of my face, which is never a good thing, and landed squarely full weight onto my elbow. But I'm stubborn, so I finished my walk and then went to a bridal shower and a hockey game afterwards and just tried to walk it off. That does not work when you break your elbow, unfortunately. So I spent 2 weeks in a full cast, I have this cast, I don't know inside. It's like a regular cast, and they basically made me a full cast and then cut the top off so I can take it off, take a shower, which is nice. But for the first 2 weeks I had to have it on 23.5 hours a day. It was pretty sore. I was very, very tired. It's very heavy as well. So I literally could barely lift it, move it, function. So all the lovely videos I had planned for you guys, which a lot of them were curriculum review videos, which would have involved having to lift things and show you them, I couldn't do, unfortunately. So, because I literally just couldn't hold anything in my hands. So, I did go back to the doctor the other day and I'm on a new, same splint, but new tensor bandage, which is nice. So it doesn't actually block my hand, because the other one was I didn't have full motion in my hand because it covered this part and stuff. So that is nice that it's this different tensor bandage. I'm also allowed to take my arm out of the cast a couple times a day when I'm sitting. And I have some exercises to do to get it moving again, but that has been nice. So we are on the road of recovery. We are mending well. I am loving sitting on the couch and being able to type without having to hold my elbow up, because the way they casted it, I can't actually type. I have to type with my elbow up. So that's been really interesting as a content creator when you can't type anything. But yeah, on the road to recovery. Things are going well. It did affect homeschooling, obviously, because there was a couple days where I literally was just in too much pain to do anything. Plus, we've had to do some extra appointments and stuff like that. So, yeah, we've been a little slow getting through our curriculum. We've been a little bit short on getting through our curriculum in the sense that I haven't done any extras. It's just been kind of trying to get through life, get the basics done. We've been focusing on language, math, and then history, and just nothing extra. Nothing extra, no extra activities, no extra hands-on stuff, just getting through the basics, because that's pretty much all I have the energy for right now. So, yeah, but now that I can take my arm out of the cast for a couple of hours a day, I have a little bit more ability to hold things. I have a little bit more ability to type. I can start really getting back into what I wanted to be doing and what I love doing, which is making content for you guys. So, what I want to do next is tell you what's coming next in terms of videos, because I know you guys are just dying to get some more videos, because obviously I haven't done any. I've just been too tired, too much pain, out of ideas too, because I had everything nice and scheduled out. I had a whole list of things, and I just literally couldn't do any of them because I couldn't hold stuff. So we are going to go through a couple of things that are coming up in terms of videos and video content for you guys. So I am going to do a video, see if I can hold my hand, video on how I start to dream for next year, because this is kind of the season when I start dreaming for next year, what next year might look like, what we might want to study, stuff like that. So I'm going to do a video on that. And then I'm going to get into some curriculum review content. You guys have asked about our math program. I get lots of questions about our math program, so I'm going to go over that. I'm going to go over Brave Writer, how we use it, but also like what a day-to-day breakdown of Brave Writer looks like, because I've gotten that a lot. Like, what does that actually look like? I'm going to do another kind of update, a review on the Good and the Beautiful Science program, because we have been loving those and they've been fantastic. So yeah, more curriculum reviews are coming because I know you guys A, love them, B, I know they're super helpful. So that's coming. I'm going to do a video on how to dream, and then we'll be starting to get into some like different things coming up in the spring when I start ordering my curriculum and it starts coming in, and I'll start showing you what we're doing for next year. So that was the second thing I wanted to tell you guys. And the third thing kind of goes with the dreaming aspect. So if you didn't know, I started a curriculum company back in December, and I am thrilled to say that True North History has been a wonderful, wild success. You guys have been loving the content. You've been loving the stuff that's coming out of True North History, and I'm so happy that I can kind of fill the void of Canadian history, geography, and social studies content, because there really is a void. There's nothing out there for Canadians to use when it comes to teaching their kids Canadian history, and a lot of parents are overwhelmed and stressed about that. And so I have already released, if you weren't aware, which one's this? Coming to Canada, which is History 1. So this is the first people all the way up until 1611. So this covers Indigenous people, the first people here, Vikings, and then the first European explorers. So this one is, there we go. This one available. Canadian geography is also available and out on the website. So you can find this there. This covers everything from kind of provinces and territories, which everyone does, but it goes through the history of how those provinces and territories came to be. We talk about things like mountains, waterways, biomes, people, all kinds of stuff in this that are maybe a little bit more than what is out there. Because I do find a lot of Canadian history curriculum is just like geography curriculum is like fluffy. That's what I call it. I have no other word for it. It's fluffy. It just like covers the very basics of like provinces, territories, and then like birds. I don't even get me started. Anyway, and then the newest release is Canada for Kinders. This is a introduction to Canadian culture kind of unit study for younger grades. So this is kind of grade 1, grade 2, kindergarten age range. And this color covers all the things that are like Canadian culture things. So we cover things like the national anthem, we cover our flag, we cover foods that were invented in Canada, and money, animals that are in Canada. We do introduce provinces and territories, but it's very, very light. But yeah, so this unit is now available. And I'm going to tell you what's coming up next, because I have had a couple people email me from the website and ask, what's next? We are trying to figure out what's happening next year, and we want to know if you're coming out with more units, what is coming, so that we can plan for what's coming next year. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So I actually thought I'd give you a rundown of what's coming next, because I feel like that's the easiest way to do this. Okay, so my original plan, I need to explain this. My process when I create curriculum is I need to have 2 on the go at the same time, because I need to be able to like switch my brain when my brain is like stuck. So I often work on 2 curriculums at the same time. So I worked on these 2 at the same time, and I was working on this one and the next history unit, but I broke my arm and I couldn't actually type out the rest of the history unit. So this one is all written, it just wasn't formatted, and that is like one of the hardest things to do, is like all the like making things big and small and adjusting all that. Couldn't do it. So this one unfortunately had to be delayed. So Start of a Nation, which is History 2, which picks up exactly where this one leaves off, this one picks up. So we have Start of a Nation. So this covers from this comes from 1611 all the way to 1800. So we talk about French, New France. This one talks about British North America. We talk a little bit about the American Revolution in here to like give you some more context, because context is important when we're talking about history, because without Canada, there'd be no America, and then the American Revolution impacted Canada. So like super important. So yeah, we talk a little bit about that, but we do talk a lot about what was life like in New France, some battles between the French and the English, the 7-Year War, how all of this was affecting the Indigenous people in Canada at the time, some of the wars they were having, the Royal Proclamation, all those things in this unit. This one comes out March 31st, because now that I can use my fingers again, I can actually finish formatting it. So this one is coming out March 31st. Perfect. So since we're doing, I do 2 units at a time, I'm going to ask for your help. So I'm going to try to explain how to do this. So after this, I'm going to work on 2 units again, because that's how I work, right? The next unit will be for sure, which is History 3, Rebellion and Expansion. So this is going to be from 1800 to 1850. And this is going to cover all of the things that are happening in Canada. We're going to talk about the expanding of European influences in Canada, how we're getting more land, we're traveling more, we're heading more west. That's a huge part of this. We're also going to talk about, there's a lot of rebellions that happen in this time period. We have the rebellions with the Métis. There's a couple of them. There's like the Red River Rebellion. There's the Northwest Rebellion. We're also going to have the War of 1812 happens during this time. So we got a lot of like really interesting, cool things happening. And so this will be the next unit that I'm working on. This will be a June release. So this one's coming out in June. So then I have the choice of two different units to work on next. I'm gonna do them both. It's just like which one do I work on next? I'm gonna let you guys pick. So these are the 2 units. Community and Me, this would be a primary social studies unit, or the history of holidays. So that's what the choices are. So I'm gonna have you guys vote actually and decide which one I work on next. So that will be at the end, but let me describe what these units are. Community and Me is a unit about the community, like who is in your community. Community helpers, we talk about like infrastructure, like libraries, skate parks. We talk about what kind of businesses your community has. So everything from like banks to grocery stores, restaurants. We talk about a little bit about tourism and how most cities or towns have some kind of tourism aspect. We talk about, I'd say, community helpers, so like police and firefighters. We talk about roads and different kinds of roads and road signs. We talk about houses, because I don't know about you, but my kids have no idea, had never understood what a condo was until I like explained it to them. So people live in different kinds of houses and like what those houses might look like. And so this would be kind of a whole community-based unit study on that. And I've done something like this with my kids in the past, and they loved it when they were like primary. So I thought this would be great. This would like hit the Ontario grade 1 curriculum expectations, but I know a lot of kids love firefighters and all that. So that's why I'm doing kind of primary. This would be kind of grade kindergarten to grade 2 kind of level. That's option 1. Option 2, again, based off another unit that I've done with my kids, and I like had to build it and make it. I'm gonna make it for you. This is the history of holidays, which is like a weird fascination of mine, how holidays come to be. And this one's gonna be formatted a little bit differently. Basically, the goal for this unit is going to be like a 1-day lesson that you can teach the day of or the couple days before a holiday and learn about the history of that holiday. So for example, let's say we're gonna do the history of Halloween. Okay, Halloween's coming up. You can do this the day before or the day of Halloween. It would be like a 1-day lesson of like, this is what Halloween is about. This is where those roots come from. This is why we go get candy and do trick-or-treating. This is why we have jack-o'-lanterns. This is where all this comes from. It would have a kind of a worksheet to go with the lesson, and then it would have a recipe, like a festive holiday recipe to go with that recipe, with that holiday. And so that's the goal for this one. So I'm putting it in red because I think this is something that would be interesting to a lot of kids, not just like primary age. I'm going to kind of aim it for kind of a little bit older, but I think kids just love it. My kids were so fascinated. We talked about all kinds of holidays when we did this unit, and I think they're going to love it. My kids still like reference how like technically Valentine's Day is celebrating murder. So, you know, the cool things that we learn about history, right? So this unit would cover all the major holidays that we have, including some other ones that, you know, maybe you don't celebrate. So we will cover things like Diwali, we'll cover Lunar New Year, we'll cover Hanukkah, Ramadan, like other holidays as well. So this is the option. So I'm gonna have you guys vote in the bottom. You can vote by liking, I think we'll do a vote by liking the comment. Vote for history of holidays to be done next, or me and my community, or what's it called? Community and me. I kept going back and forth on the names. So those will be the next. Whichever one I do will also be a June release with this one. And then the one that it doesn't win will be a August release with History 4, which is Road to Confederation. This will be covering from 1850 to Confederation, because obviously that's the time period and a lot happens. I know that's only like 17 years. A lot happens in that 17 years that is very important for like the foundations of Canada. And it probably will go past a little bit past Confederation, because we do like the years immediately after Confederation are pretty tumultuous and like a lot of going on, but that will be the next one, and that will be everything, and that should be released by August. So there's one more unit coming in 2025, which will be a mini unit. So it's not going to be a full 12 to 14 lesson unit. It's going to be a mini unit, and it's going to be the history of Christmas. And it will be obviously like a half-priced unit, half the regular price of a unit. And it's going to do the history of Christmas traditions, Christmas songs, Christmas, the meaning of Christmas, different characters in Christmas. If you know, you know. Yeah, so that will be coming out in fall of 2025, and that'll be everything for 2025. And then when I was telling people this, they're like, oh, so like then it's done, like you're done. And I was like, oh no, I don't think you guys understand how many units I have in the back of my mind or on lists on my computer to be made. So I'm going to actually start showing you a little bit about what's coming in 2026, because this is just a fraction of it, but here's for sure what's coming in 2026. We are going to do History 4, which is Canada, a New Nation. So this will be from Confederation up until like 1914. So we're going to do this, how Canada is getting started, the final provinces, well, not the final provinces, many of the last provinces to join, because obviously like Newfoundland takes forever to join Canada. But we're going to cover the new provinces that are joining. We're covering things like the CP Railroad, and like this is a picture of the last spike. So we're covering like things like that. Canada's getting excited. Canada's getting a new identity, the Boer War, like things are happening. So that's going to be coming in 2026. And then 2026 is also going to have Canada and World War I, because I think people are fascinated by wars, and World War I and World War II, and I think that it's important that we cover those things. But I also want to make sure that I just think that these will be really they'll be good sellers. Like people will, you guys, I think you will enjoy this. I know this is a really popular topic with a lot of boys. They need something a little more interesting, because we cover like planes and tanks and battles and stuff like that. And so great hook to get kids interested in Canadian history. We're also going to do, because I'm doing Canada World War I, we're also going to do World War II, because I think, again, same thing, great hook for kids, super important on like what's happening in the world today, but also like very, very interesting. So another great, and both of these are going to be from the Canadian perspective. So yes, it's World War and world aspects, but we're going to talk a lot about like Canada's contribution to those wars, what Canada's identity came out of those wars, and that kind of stuff. And then the last unit that I'm going to guarantee for 2026, by the end of 2026, is the Indigenous people of Canada. So this unit has been requested several times already, because I did something like this a few years ago on this channel when I did a Indigenous people of Canada unit, like pre-contact unit with my kids, and I had to piece that together. Like, it was multiple teacher pay teacher things, multiple books, multiple things pieced together. And a lot of you guys were really interested in that unit. You were like, and when I kind of explained how much work it was to put together, you were like, oh, we wish there was something easier. So that's what this one's going to be. It's going to be like what I did with my kids for the Indigenous people of Canada. This will be pre-contact. So this can almost become, I don't know where it is now, a precursor to History 1, if you wanted. Because, but it is technically a social studies because it's like Indigenous People Society. That's really hard to hold this. So yeah, Indigenous People of Canada will be coming out in 2026. And I think this will be another one that you guys will be absolutely thrilled with. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that really helps you guys know what's coming for True North History, where you can find some great history and social studies curriculum for your Canadian homeschooled kid. Another very exciting thing, I will actually be attending my very first homeschool conference with True North History. I'm going to be at I want to make sure I get this right, the Rideau Valley Homeschool Educator Association, their conference on April 12th. It is in Canada, and I'll put the information down below. So if you are like Ottawa area, want to take a drive to Ottawa, it is a one-day conference. I will be there all day, from, I think it opens at 8 till 4:30, and you guys can check out, I'll have all the copies of the curriculum with me, and you can ask questions and look through them and see all that kind of stuff. So that's very, very exciting. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I'm getting better, and I'm hoping to get a lot more stuff done over the next couple of weeks. Like I said, Star of a Nation, I've got to finish formatting that, and then that will be available, I'm hoping, March 31st. And yeah, I'm also in the process of trying to figure out what we're going to do for homeschooling next year in terms of curriculum. And so when my husband comes back from Europe, because that's where he is right now, he took 20-something high school students to Europe to go visit Italy and Greece. Bugger. Yeah, so we're gonna go, when he comes back, he's gonna help me film those videos on the nicer setup, because I can't set up like my camera and my lights and all that on my own with only one hand. So when he gets back, we're gonna do that. I'll talk about what my process is for planning and dreaming, because that's right where I am right now. So yeah, I hope this gives you guys some ideas, a little bit of an update, and I will see you guys back next week, hopefully with some more regular scheduled content. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.